This is a bergamot. It comes from the mint family. The way you can identify mint is that the stems are square. Now this, all of our plants on the reservation and any plant that we do see, they are very special because each one of these plants has a story. Many of our beliefs that date back to the beginning of time, every stone, every plant, every tree, every animal, they were all given their own spirit. Every blade of grass has its own spirit. So this is why that we talk to them. We treat them with respect. This purple coneflower or the elk mint, the bergamot, however it's identified, it is, there's a wonderful story that they tell about this elk mint. It is also a courting medicine that the men and women would rub the blossoms, the plant, on their bodies to so that they could smell good, because it is a very good mint, and a lot of our it grows in about June and July. It's in its this one is the most beautiful and has the most blossoms. But this plant, there are many stories about it. And because the flute that the Indians used to play resembles the screech of the elk. If you look in a lot of your flutes that Indians played many years ago, you'll notice on a tuner, the little object that tunes your flute, there is always a picture of an elk on there. These flutes were used for doctoring, for courting, for many things, and entertainment, and to bring harmony and happiness to a village. When a young man would, at a certain age in his puberty, he can no longer talk to his sister. And I think this would made harmony in a lodge, because you know how each of you little ones, how everybody in general, the brothers and sisters always quarreled and argued, and this is why I think it was a part of why a brother could not talk to his sister. They talked through their mother. And the sister once said, all my friends we're going to ride horses this afternoon through the village, and we're going to show off our buckskin outfits that we have made. All of my friends are going to ride their best horses. So the little boy, the brother, hears this, and he doesn't say anything, and he just walks out. And he goes down and picks the best horse in the family herd, the most beautiful one, because he loved his sister. He wanted to give her a horse that the village knew as one of the best horses in the herd. he would clean it and take it down to the stream and wash it. And then as the horse dried, he would take it up to the bergamot or the elk mint fields and pick the blossoms, in which he chewed up in his mouth, and then he spread them on his hands and he rubbed them all over the horse so the horse would not smell of sweat. They chewed up these heads here, the beautiful purple heads, and they rubbed it all over the horse from the head to the tail, all of its legs, because he wanted that horse to smell good when his sister rode it. Then he took it up and saddled it. And then he went back, after he had it saddled, he brought it to the lodge and tied it up, and he stuck his head into the teepee door and told his mother, he said, "There is a beautiful horse tied here on the outside of your lodge." And then he would walk away. That afternoon, his sister and all of her friends rode the most beautiful horses in the tribe. They rode through the village to show off the beaded buckskins that they were wearing, the moccasins that they were wearing. They had a lot of laughter. And everyone in the village would stand out there in the front of their lodges and admire these beautiful ladies as they rode by. Admire the horses. They knew all the horses. Some were buffalo running horses, some were war horses, but they were the best of that family. So when you see plants like this bergamot, and I hope one day you'll be able to grow your own there, and you'll be able to share this story that I have shared with you about the elk mint. And as the Cheyennes say, moe mokshin. Moe is elk. Mokshin is.
There they are.
Yeah, beautiful. I love it.
Yeah, we're growing some for every family in the school.
Very good, very good. Now, all of you young scholars there with your journal books, now you know the story. That story belongs to you now. You'll be able to share it. Instead of just showing a flower, you'll be able to tell a story. And that's how we hand down our knowledge. Thank you for your time.
Yep. You can make good teas out of it and different things like that. How many of you like tea? Yep. Mint tea is some of the best. So if you want to make mint tea with it, you can use the leaves. You dry them out. This one is flat. This is one we keep inside of something called a plant press. It's just a bunch of papers folded on top of each other that lay down. But when you go and pick mint, remember, you don't put it in the sunlight to dry. It starts to wither, it wilts. The leaves turn real dark. If you want a really strong tea, you let the leaves turn dark from the sun, it wilts. That gets a really strong taste, but it's bitter. So if you ever pick mint, remember one thing that they do with a lot of mint. You'll always get the bottoms when you pick your mint. You'll hang them upside down like that and tie them to dry. Put them in some place that's cool, some place that's dark. That way they'll dry out good. When you pick fresh mint, do you know where to find mint? Any of you? You got to check the dark places. Anytime where there's creeks or streams where there's lots of shade, they like growing in the shade. If you're ever walking outside and you smell a skunk smell, that's not a skunk, that's mint. Mint is really strong smelling. If any of you smelled those mint plants before, You know what I'm talking about. It smells really good. You eat a lot of mint in chewing gums and all sorts of things. You have a lot of mint smells and perfumes. But this has so many things that can be good for. One of them is when you're really sick. The head has the most oil in the mint. If you want a really strong tea, you use the heads. When they started getting sick around here a few years ago, I heard they made mint tea with it. Those people couldn't breathe very well. They had all that phlegm in their lungs when they were sick with a certain sickness I'm not going to name. But when that sickness came up, they used this mint to doctor people to make them well. It made them breathe again. How many of you have ever seen Vicks before? It comes in a little blue jar and you rub it on your chest when you're sick. Yep, that's basically just like Vicks. When you drink strong mint tea, it opens up your nose, it opens up your throat, helps you breathe better when you're sick. Another good thing I'm going to tell you about mint tea is if you drink a lot of it, you better be near the bathroom. You're going to have to go about 7 times in the span of 1 hour. So don't drink a lot of mint tea at once. Enjoy it a little bit at a time. That's good for a lot of people that have heart problems. A lot of older folk that have bad hearts, they got a lot of liquid on them. They can't get rid of the water. So when they drink mint tea, well, that helps you get rid of excess water. So if you have a little bit of a water buildup and grandma, grandpa, or someone, have them drink mint tea, strong mint tea. That'll help them get rid of that water. But you kids are lucky being able to take home some of this stuff. This is a very good plant. Goes by many names. Best part is it brings in bees. Bees that pollinate and spread things like that. Unless you're allergic to bees, in which case, that's okay.
Can you all see this plant? This is called stinging nettles. A lot of people don't like this plant because it burns you as when you touch it on your bare skin. Some people get rashes. They get irritation when they touch it. Well, a lot of people don't go near a dark spot where this grows because they know they don't want the plant to sting them. Well, the Indian people look at it differently. We don't look at it as an irritant. We look at it as a medicine. My grandmother, when she had arthritis or joint pain, just like this plant here, it still has a lot of stinging properties. But we pick it and we take it to our grandmother that has the sore hands and the sore joints.
Okay.
And you hit the plant on the joint that hurts her, whether it be her hands, her fingers, her elbow, her knee, and it stings. This still has a lot of sting to it, and it burns a little bit. But I welcome it because it is a medicine. And I'm driving in the needles that come from this. We drive it in because it is a medicine and it's going to heal us. It's going to take away the pain. So there's misconception. A lot of people don't understand a lot of these plants and they don't like to be near them. But the great thing about teaching plants to children is that basically at one time this was basically the role of the women. They were the ones that taught their children survival skills of which plants they could eat, which plants were medicine. And they taught them how to treat plants. When you pick a mint, you never pull it from its root. You cut it on a bottom and tell it that next year, when the plants grow again, you're going to grow tall and beautiful and very fragrant. Children are going to see you. They're going to be happy when they see you. This is what you tell the cut off plant. Because if you pull it from the ground with its roots, it is like taking a child from their family. It ain't going to grow anymore. So you leave it with its family, but you can cut it and use it, but you always promise it that it'll grow strong again and people will always admire it. So this is kind of the story of this nettles. You can make a tea with it. If you wish to spend a lot of money, go to a health store and buy capsules of stinging nettles if you really wish to do so. They cost a lot of money, but if you have nettles down by the stream beds, you can pick it and dry it and make your own capsules. You don't have to go to a health store. But always understand the stories behind our plants. All the women knew these stories. This is why it's so important to have a story with a plant. That way, children love a story. You all love stories, don't you? This is how we taught our Indian children. Our children in general, we're doing it in schools right now, but we want to share knowledge by telling a story about it, because everyone loves a story. That's the stinging nettles.
So what we have right here is called creeping juniper. It is a type of a cedar. You see that? How many of you have seen cedar trees before? They grow all over the place. They put them in cities and towns so they smell good. But this was an old-time incense, as it's called. So it's a part of the juniper family in a way, but yeah. We call this one woman cedar. The reason why they call it creeping juniper is because, have you ever seen a spider's legs before? They go out in different directions. This stuff, when it grows, it never grows very tall like a big bush or a tree. It stays on the ground small. It grows all over the place. This is called woman cedar because it has the groups. Male plants will be alone most of the time. Female plants stay together. They have a closed root system. Just the same way how a lot of ladies like to hang out in groups. Men will usually go out alone, guys. But what they use this for is in the morning, when my dad cooks breakfast, he always puts cedar on the stove. It smells really good. This stuff really has a lot of sap in it, so when you burn it, it starts to smoke. It smells really good. Have any of you ever smelled incense before? It's basically this wooden stick you put inside of a burner and you light it and it smokes. It makes your house smell real strong. That's basically what this is. When you burn it, it gets a lot of smoke. They use it to pray. They use it to remember. This house that I'm in has always smelled like cedar. It always smelled like memories to me. I was a little boy. They used to burn cedar in the morning. It reminded me that breakfast was ready. Anytime I smelled cedar, that meant my parents were up. It was time to go eat, time to get up. So when I smell cedar now as an adult, it makes me really happy. Reminds me of when I was young. One day when everything changes, having something that you remember, something that you can smell, it's going to bring back good memories. It's going to remind you of all those times where everything was all right. Cedar is used in prayer because it smells good. It brings harmony to the lodge in a way. Anytime there's fighting, quarreling, anytime you have a bad dream, the old time woman used to burn this, and that would they'd bless their children with it. They'd push that smoke over themselves or their kids. That way they'd be purified and they'd be all right, be blessed. But if you ever see this growing on the ground, if you want it to be really strong in its power, it's a woman plant. Do you know which direction is the direction for woman? It's north. You want to tell that story?
When our Creator created water, created earth, excuse me, when he stepped upon it, he done many wonderful things. He took a rib from his right side, created man. As the man lay there, he took a rib from that man's left side and created woman. He sent the woman to the north because the woman's life is going to be hard, and it is hard. They send her, that's where the birds go to have their little ones. That's where the cold winds come from. With this cedar are all the plants that the women pick. If they want them to be very special, they pick them on the north side of a hill in honor of the first woman that was sent to the north. That way you give her recognition, you know that you haven't forgot her, that you're going to always be able to talk about her. But this is a stickery creeping juniper that is real stickery. And because it's for a person that is tough, stuff are tough in their life that they have to go through. So it is it also, you burn it during a thunderstorm. When you hear the thunder, you have where your children sit in a house and wait for the storm to pass. But when you pray, the smoke from the cedar, the incense, carries your prayer to the Creator. So we'll do well, and you'll do well. Thank you.
I think we've got time for a couple questions, if you guys don't mind. Yeah. Miles?
Do you know the story
Ask.
do you know the story of the coconut trees?
Do you know
Yeah,
the story of the
about
coconut trees?
Never heard of it, no.
Which one?
It's a Hawaiian story where his daughter owned a snake,
Mhm.
and the snake attacked her, and the dad killed the snake and buried its guts, and then it turned into a coconut tree.
I'm gonna have to look that one up. That sounds interesting.
Thank you for sharing.
Mm-hmm.
That,
How many types of plants do you guys know?
How many types of plants?
You guys have
Oh.
stories.
Oh, many stories, many plants. The only bad thing is it's still spring here. So the plants haven't really come in yet. We have to wait a few weeks. But we know a lot of plants and we know a lot of stories.
All right, Dexter, you have a question?
Where do you live?
We live in Montana, Northern Cheyenne Indian Reservation in Montana. So that's southeastern Montana. If you look on the Montana map, we're on the very bottom, on the right side of it. So, yep. So we kind of live near the bottom of the mountains and hills. So if you look up in the tall mountains, there's still snow up there, a lot of it. The thing is, it's still kind of winter up there. Did you kids know if you go up in mountains, it'll go back 1 month behind? If it's summertime on where you're at right now, if you drive up to mountains, up to the very tops, it'll still be spring up there. You'll still find a bunch of spring flowers and stuff. Weather up on mountains it changes a lot more slower than when you're down below. So if you live on a flat place, you're going to have a summer a lot more quick. But if you live up in a higher elevation, it's going to stay cool for a long time. But all the plants and things are barely coming out of the ground about that high, and they're looking cute. So we're excited about this year. It's going to be good. All of the rain, all of the snow, all of the good weather. It's going to be a beautiful year for berries, for plants. And for you kids, I seen a black bear running through our neighbor's field the other day. Have any of you ever seen a black bear before? They are spooky. Mhm. It looked like a baby cow running across the field. I thought the neighbor's cows got out, and then I seen it stand up on its hind legs. Bears stand up, they're real tall. Boy, I had a pop in my hand. I was drinking a soda. I really dropped it and ran outside. I went looking for my dad, making sure he came inside. Boy, that was a big bear.
Jeez.
Yeah, you can tell they're bears because they got that long nose with the brown on them and the big ears on top. That was a big boy.
All right, we have one last question. Go ahead, Dexter.
Yep.
How warm is it in the summer?
How warm is it in the summer?
Right?
It can get around 80 degrees Fahrenheit, or most of the time it's 90. It's really hot and really humid here. So you kind of get sticky at night when you try and sleep. You open up your window and boy, it gets hot. Your bed sheets get stuck to you. But sometimes it's a really dry summer. So how many of you have ever eaten jerky before or dried fruit? That's how we used to dry things living in Montana. It's windy all the time. There's a lot of wind coming through the valleys. So when you have that 90-degree heat with the wind, you can naturally preserve things. So we hang meat on poles that's raw meat, and after a few hours or a day or so, we peel it off and it turns into jerky. That's dry meat. That's what a lot of people up here eat. So it's kind of sad tasting. You need salt, but it's good. So the weather gets really hot up here. In the winters, they get pretty cold. Sometimes it can be up to around 10 degrees Fahrenheit, or sometimes in bad winters, it'll get down to 30 below here. Have any of you ever been in really cold weather where you breathe through your nose and your nose hairs turn icy? It starts freezing up your nose. That's how cold it can get here sometimes. The good thing is, though, we don't get very much snow, but it just gets really icy. We live on the bottom of mountains, so anytime the wind blows through mountains, it comes right into the valley where we live. We get a lot of Arctic wind. So it's like the air conditioner is on all year round winter time. So, yep, it gets cold.
Well, thank you guys so much for meeting with us. This
Yeah,
was awesome.
thank you.
What do you guys-